If the British Empire was powerful enough to destroy kings, if it was ruthless enough to starve millions, if it was cruel enough to erase entire civilizations, then answer this one question before anything else. Why did it never eliminate the man we are told was its greatest enemy? Not arrested, eliminated. Not jailed, erased. Not negotiated with, removed from history. Why did Mahatma Gandhi live? And not just live, lead, travel, speak, negotiate, influence, and shape the final transfer of power. This is not disrespect, this is logic. Because empires do not spare their real enemies, they destroy them. The British Empire did not hesitate to destroy the Mughal Empire. It systematically dismantled the Maratha Empire. It crushed kingdoms, broke bloodlines, and replaced rulers with clerks. When Tipu Sultan resisted British economic and military control, he was hunted and killed. When Sirajud-Dowlah opposed them, Bengal was turned into a famine-stricken laboratory of exploitation. This was the rule of empire. Challenge control and you die. No debates, no moral conversations, no second chances. Now hold that rule tightly in your mind, because now we enter the Indian independence movement, and suddenly the rule seems to change. We are taught that Gandhi was the biggest threat to British rule, that he shook the empire, that he forced Britain to leave. So let's apply the same logic. If Gandhi truly threatened British control, why was he never eliminated? He was arrested, yes, but arrest is not fear. Arrest is management. Empires jail people they can control. They kill people they cannot. Now contrast Gandhi's survival with those who did not survive. Consider Bhagat Singh, young, educated, fearless. He did not appeal to British conscience. He challenged British authority. He believed oppression should be answered with resistance. What did Britain do? They hanged him. No negotiations, no global sympathy campaign, no mercy. Because Bhagat Singh was not an image problem, he was a power problem. Now look at Subhas Chandra Bose. He did not fast. He did not write moral letters. He built an army. The Indian National Army did not threaten British reputation. It threatened British rule. And suddenly, his end becomes unclear. Files sealed, stories contradictory, questions unanswered decades later. Notice the pattern. Those who threatened power were erased. Those who threatened image were tolerated. This is not emotion. This is pattern recognition. Now let's confront a sacred idea. We are told non-violence defeated the British Empire. But non-violence works only when the opponent already wants to leave. Britain did not leave India because of moral awakening. Britain left because it was bankrupt after World War II, exhausted militarily, and increasingly afraid of mutiny within Indian armed forces. History quietly skips this. The Royal Indian Navy Mutiny of 1946. Soldiers refusing orders. Armed Indians questioning loyalty. Empires do not collapse when people march. They collapse when soldiers turn. That is when Britain calculated exit. Not defeat, exit. And when empires exit, they don't abandon control blindly. They choose successors. So ask the real question. When Britain decided to leave India, did it ask who sacrificed the most? Or did it ask Who can maintain stability and continuity? This is where Jawaharlal Nehru becomes central. Western educated, English speaking, comfortable with British institutions. This is not insult, this is profile analysis. Britain did not hand India to chaos, it handed India to continuity. Same laws, same courts, same bureaucracy, same administrative mindset. Only the rulers changed. Now pause. Is that what a revolution looks like? Revolutions destroy systems. India inherited them. That does not mean independence was fake. It means it was managed. Now let's talk about who writes history. History is not written by the bravest. It is not written by the dead. History is written by those who outlive the moment. Bhagat Singh died at 23. Subhas Bose disappeared before independence. Chandra Azad died in his 20s. They did not write textbooks. Those who lived long enough to govern control memory. This is not moral judgment. This is mechanics of power. Now notice something uncomfortable. Textbooks place Gandhi and Nehru at the center of independence. Revolutionaries appear as side notes. Why? Because revolutionaries introduce dangerous questions. If armed resistance was growing, was independence really granted? Or was it accelerated to prevent violent overthrow? That question destabilizes legitimacy. And legitimacy is everything for a new nation. So history was simplified, complexity was reduced, contradictions were softened, negotiation was glorified, rebellion was romanticized but sidelined. Now let's talk about partition. If Britain genuinely wanted India to be strong and free, why divide it? Why rush borders in weeks? Why leave unresolved conflicts? Why create permanent hostility? Because division ensures weakness. A united subcontinent could become a rival. A divided one remains distracted. Partition was not accidental chaos. It was strategic withdrawal. And who paid the price? Not British officials, ordinary people. Millions dead, millions displaced, trauma passed through generations. And who emerged in power? The negotiators, the administrators, the survivors. Now comes the most sensitive question, and listen carefully. Did Gandhi and Nehru intentionally manipulate history? Or did history naturally bend toward those who survived and ruled? That distinction matters, because one is accusation, the other is structural reality. But here is what cannot be denied. The story we were taught is selective. It emphasizes morality over power, dialogue over force, clean exits over messy truths. Because messy truths make people ask dangerous questions, and power does not like dangerous questions. Now consider this. Why is questioning Gandhi or Nehru treated as heresy? Why is critique equated with anti-nationalism? Because myths demand protection. Truth does not. A strong nation can question its past. A fragile narrative cannot. Now let's zoom out even further. Britain did not just leave India. It ensured English remained the elite language. British law remained foundational. Colonial bureaucracy remained intact. Economic structures remained familiar. This is not coincidence. This is continuity of influence. Empires rarely lose power overnight. They transform it. Now ask yourself one final logic test. If tomorrow a leader emerges who rejects negotiation, builds armed resistance, threatens structure, not image, do you think power will tolerate them? Or do you think history will repeat itself? Because flags change, faces change, but power logic does not. Those who threaten control are erased. Those who manage transition are preserved. Those who die young become symbols, but never decision makers. This does not reduce anyone's sacrifice, it contextualizes it. And context is dangerous. Because once people understand context, they stop worshipping stories and start analyzing systems. And systems hate analysis, they prefer belief. So the next time someone tells you Indian independence was a simple story of good versus evil, ask them calmly, logically, without anger. Why were the most dangerous fighters eliminated? Why were armed revolutionaries silenced? Why did the British destroy kings, armies, and rebels but never eliminate Gandhi? This is not hatred. This is logic. And logic does not care who it offends.